Excuse me. Hey up, from Row Racing DP here for the third time, seeing as the game has now crashed on me twice. Now, I guess there is half a chance. It is very, very hot where I am, even now at 20 past 10 at night. But we are determined to get Frogbear's race in, so we're going to scrap the qualifying session and hope that we can get in to the race. So let's give it a blast. Let's get rid of the qualifying session. No qualifying. I can pick where I start. Okay, we're gonna pick. We're starting at the back of the grid. Okay. Now I am going to hang on just a moment here. No, actually, let's go to track, because we did have 28 viewers before the game decided to crash on us, so it would be a bit unfair if we didn't at least let a handful of them, if not all of them, get back in before we crack on. Because at the end of the day, some of the most exciting parts of the races are the start of the races. Okay. So the iPad looks like it's back up and running. Dig into the... I'm going to have to dig into the M&Ms. Now, Frogbear has just sent me a PlayStation message, so let's go and see what that says. Hopefully it says, sorry, my fault. Thinks I jinxed you. Yeah, I think you did. I really think you did. I've just noticed as well, one of my friends has sent me a message. I can't stand the AI on Project Cars. Have you messed about with tire pressure, or do you leave them as standard? Two and Frogbear, don't worry about it, it's not your fault, mate. It is down to the it's going to be down to the PlayStation Project Cars. Like I say, there is half a chance that my PlayStation is getting a little bit too warm. I mean, we've been on for a good 3-4 hours now, and it is ridiculously hot. I mean, I've got through a litre of water, half a litre of coffee, and I still need more to drink, so God knows how the PlayStation's feeling. Right, okay, so no qualifying. We're starting from the back of the grid, and we're going to go for it and see how we get on. Hopefully it's not going to be too much carnage, seeing as everything we've been through. But let's go. Now this start, I'm going to predict is going to be horrible. Especially down into turn 1. Yeah, I've made him go defensive so I could go round the outside, and this worked beautifully. Please don't have a car park up here. It's not what we need, because if I have to double hit the brakes, the car will spin on me.
Guys all over you, filling the mirrors. Time to cover the inside line and brake as late as you can.
Really don't want to cover the inside line here because it's such a slow line, but it did slow him down enough. Also covering the inside line on that corner, more chance of locking the tyres. Okay, we may have to brake early around here, the amount of cars that are ahead of us. Down to first a bit too soon there. Probably can take it in second, but I did want to try first gear.
You're all over his mirrors. Let's try and take him on this lap. See if you can force him into an error and slip past.
Well, at the moment it's pulling away from me, but my plan is to catch him in the corners. Too wide, come back, come back, come back. Ooh, that's what I was on about, doing a double press of the brake. All out of shape in one corner, messes me up for the next one. But up here is where I plan on catching them if I can keep it on the tarmac.
Don't let off the pressure. See if you can slip up the inside under braking.
Oh no! Caught the back of him. Caught the back of him and he just went straight on, taking me with him. I did not want to do that, as I wanted to overtake him down here.
Try and stop this guy getting underneath you. Cover that inside line.
I'm not worried about him behind, thank you. Come on, come on, good slipstream, come on, we can have him. Come on. Okay, dummy the inside, make him defend it. Come on, defend it, defend it. He's not doing. Instead he's going to go slow in the middle of the corner. Which means I'm now going to have to be careful up here. Come on, go, 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 go. A little bit of contact. Send me wide. See, that's where the AI really, really, really just needs to give you that tiny little bit of room. Because if you had damage on full, we'd have both been going for the pit lane. I gave him as much room as I could, and he just turned in. Okay, oh well, forget about him now. Let's focus on the cars ahead. Now admittedly, if I was using the bonnet view, which is a view that I do like using, I would be able to tell more easily where the front of my own car is, so nudging the back of some of the AIs wouldn't happen because I could be able to see where the front of my car is. But obviously using in-car view, you've just got to purely judge it, and when you're going from one car to another, it's not easy to judge because the bonnets are all different lengths.
Your lap time's a little bit erratic. Try and line up some strong, consistent laps. Keep focused and get back on it.
Okay. Brake way too late there, Dave. What are you doing, fella? So concerned about locking up the wheels, I'm not braking anywhere near enough or early enough.
Keep the pressure on, stay consistent, focus on the lap time, keep pushing, keep pushing.
And to be honest, when you're racing, one of the worst things you can do is fear your brake pedal. And if you do fear your brake pedal, it's probably because your car's been locking up. And if it is, you need to adjust your setup. Now, I would still like second gear to be a bit perkier, but bugger all I can do about that. Although admittedly, if I did lower the rear downforce, I would get more speed and perhaps have a perkier gearbox and be able to attack them more on the straights. But given the nature of this track and the difficulties we had in the qualifying session with the crashing of the game, we didn't really get a chance to play about with it. It's just a little too flat on the exit, on sort of mid to exit of corner.
Your pace is steady, but we need a bit more now. See what you can pull out of it.
Don't fear your brakes.
Probe for weakness, let him feel your presence.
Oh, wants me to probe him. Come here, let me probe you. bit hot. Survived it though, just. Oh, it's the end of the race. I was just really getting into that then. Who needs Mr. Motivator when you've got project cars? You're not wrong there. I'm definitely getting a workout anyway. Driving the Z4, yes, Jay Walker. That was the Z4 recommended by Frog Bear. Nice car that. It was enjoyable to drive around that track. I just wish I'd have had a couple more laps to go and attack those cars ahead. Now, Harris Supreme, hello, how are you? On the previous live stream, which crashed, then the next one that crashed because of the game, we had a fella request the Bentley Continental GT3 around the Nürburgring. So that's where I'm going to go in next. I'm not sure if they're still in the room. Now the chat is a bit quiet at the moment because with us having with the game having crashed on us a couple of times, obviously we have lost, or at least I have lost the chat feed from earlier. But I'm just going to get myself a quick drink and then we'll jump in the Continental GT3. Now from my memory, I can't say that I have driven that car yet, which means there is no setup on it. Now for the Nürburgring, the Grand Prix circuit, this is a car that I honestly can say I would not pick for driving around the Nürburgring because it's quite heavy, it's a little bit lazy, and I don't think it's the fastest of cars. There are nicer. I know the Porsche GT3, for example, does handle a lot nicer around there. Is that it for the liveries? That is a bit depressing. Okay. Excuse me. Now I am going to put qualifying back on. I'm going to put qualifying back on so I can go and test the car. But I'm not going to qualify. I'm still going to start the race from the back of the grid. I tell you what, we'll put it in as a warm-up session instead. A 50-minute warm-up session, just so I can have a blast in the car, see how it is, see if I need to make a couple of little tweaks. For anyone that's new to the live stream, this session that I'm doing this evening, I'd already done about 3 hours before I restarted this live stream. It's pretty much exactly what it says on the title. The viewers decide what I drive. So this is a car that's been picked by one of the viewers. Sorry, I can't remember. It might have been Corpinus. That sounds a bit wrong. Corpinus, not Corpinus. It's a penis in the core. Salute. Yeah, it might have been Corpinus that requested the Continental GT3. Now, I'm not really doing anything on setups here because it's more a case of jump in the car and go. But where necessary, I will adjust gears, take the fuel out because I haven't got fuel usage on, put the right tyres on, make the odd little tweak, but mainly it's get the gears right for the particular circuit. Okay, I think the gears are going to be a little bit long there. I bet it's going to be a big jumper gear. It is, so I'm going to have to bear that in mind. Do my little trick on the radiator. Ride height is quite high, but around here I may need that given the final chicane. Not a lot of aeros on it, so let's go and see how this handles. Bloody hell, not much view out of that window, is there? Slim Dingo, good evening, how are you? Oh, excuse me. Now this is sounding a little bit like a battle tank at the moment. Oh, Dave, you donut. You've left it on Bathurst. Now, I could have taken it around Bathurst, but the Nürburgring was requested, so we're going to do that instead. Now you have to excuse me a second. I'm a bit hungry, so I'm going to continue on with my crunchy M&Ms. I'm very good, Slim Dingo. A little bit too hot, to be honest, but other than that, I'm good. What games do I stream? Jay Walker, hello. Yeah, you just want to ask about the Z4. To be honest, I only started live streaming once I got Project Cars. At the moment, it is the only game that I really do live streaming on. I have attempted to do a little bit of live streaming on FIFA. I played in pro clubs with my brother and a friend of ours, and we played some beautiful football. I went live streaming it one night and we played absolutely terrible, but I have done FUTV my brother, which I live streamed, and I'm actually going to put it onto YouTube because we had a pretty good laugh with that, but it is nothing to do with racing. But at the moment it's mainly just Project Cars that I live stream, although when F1 2015 comes out, I am involved in an F1 racing league, Front Row Racing, hence the name, but when I do those races, it's a league race, so I won't have my iPad on. Unfortunately, I won't respond to messages because I will be concentrating. So people may think I'll be rude if I live stream F1 in league races, but I'm not being rude. I'm trying to win. To win, I have to concentrate. I mean, it might sound a bit daft this, but I have always actually struggled to talk and drive. So live streaming Project Cars, talking and driving at the same time, has been very difficult for me. Because I know that I actually drive better when I'm not talking. The problem is, I can waffle on for bloody hours. And if I waffle on, I'm not concentrating, therefore I don't hit my braking points, my turning points, my apexes and all that kind of stuff. What type of cars are there in this game? Blockface. After this session, I'll nip in and show you. But there is road cars, touring cars, GT cars, LMP1 prototypes, LMP2s, LMP3s, go-karts, super go-karts, NASCARs, classic Lotus F1 cars, they call them Formula C's, B's, A's, Formula Rookies, so essentially a Formula 1 car, GP2 car, GP3 car, and so on. Right, okay, now because we are at a different track, I'm going to have to redo some of these settings. But we are now in the Bentley Continental GT3, requested, I'm sure it was by Corpinus. I think that was the name. If I've got that wrong, I do apologise. My memory isn't the greatest. I'd forget my own name if it wasn't at the top of the live stream title. Not surprising though, my mum could barely remember my name. It was always Martin, Stephen, John. Oh no, David. Yeah, that's right, Mother. But to be fair, she did do exactly the same with all of my brothers. But there we go. There's a special message to my mum. Right, okay. Excuse me. Do they have a McLaren P1? Yes, they do. Although it's not actually very nice to drive. Right, okay. So we're in a bit of a warm-up session here. I'm not going to work too much on setup, but I am going to see whether the gears are right for me, whether there's any quick setup changes I can make to perhaps make the car handle a little bit better. Ooh, she's a bit slippy on the rear end. Okay, she's very slippy on the rear end. Already I can tell that this is handling absolutely nothing like that BMW Z4. I'm also having to use a lot more brake travel to get it to slow down, but then it is essentially, or potentially, a heavier car. Turning's quite perky though. Now a lot of people think that this is the fastest part of this track. Surprisingly it isn't. Ooh, didn't like braking late there. The fastest part of the track is out of this final corner, heading down into turn 1. Okay, that rear end is shocking. Right. Quick look at ride heights. It's on 60, it's not front down by 5. That may give us too much turning on the front. But lowering the rear should give us some extra grip. I'm going to whack the rear aero up a little bit and try again. And Slim Dingo, yes, it's very warm here in the UK. 105 litres, that does not mean laps. I know it doesn't mean laps, unless you're realising now it doesn't mean laps. In the car setup, the 5 or the L is for litres, not laps. On average, a lot of the cars use around about 2 litres per lap. So if you have got fuel usage on, which I haven't at the moment, excuse me, but if you have got fuel usage on, you are going to need, like for a 5-lap race, you're going to need at least 10-11 litres worth of fuel, depending on the track, depending on the car. Different cars will use different amounts of fuel, and how you drive it will depend on how much fuel you use. If you lift and coast, you can use less fuel. But if you haven't got fuel usage on, you can actually put it down to 1 litre of fuel, which potentially gives you fastest car, although in some cars a bit of fuel in may be better, having that extra bit of weight assisting with traction. Will I go too high with it and the car is just going to feel lazy and heavy. Now also, I didn't expect this car to be as rear end happy as it felt on those. Now it could have been that the tyres weren't quite up to temperature, but I think it's just the level of downforce. But there he comes sliding through there quite fast. Oh, I'll let you go. Okay, let's practice an overtaking to turn 1, see where the braking point's going to be. Not liking the rear end of this car. Oh, he nearly didn't like it either. Now, I didn't have a look at what sort of speed I was getting up to in the gear, whether I was anywhere near topping out or not. I will try and have a look at that on this lap. I'll try and have a quick look at the rear tyre temperatures. If they were low or way too high, that could explain lack of rear grip. Okay. I think I may take, if we can, a little bit of gear. Oh, those tyre pressures are very, very high. I am going to reduce those a bit, which is going to be a complete gamble, but hopefully will give us some additional rear grip. Reduce this brake duct a little bit to try and help with the brake temperature. Is that going to be a big jump down? It is, which means that that's probably going to be too low, but we'll give it a try because we're not using first gear anyway. Oh, it's not taking me out of the pits. Right, come on. Jaguar XJS, sadly no. That would, well, it depends. There's the XJS road car, or there's, I'm fairly sure it's the Jaguar XJS Le Mans car. Now if they had one of those in, oh, I'd be happy. Fairly sure used to, I mean I might be wrong with the XJS, but Jaguar Le Mans car that used to have the Cadbury's livery. Ooh. Now they were fantastic cars. Which wheel am I using? Thrustmaster T300 RS with manual gears. Now if you do send messages while I am on track, there is a good chance that I'm not going to be able to respond to them because I've got my iPad next to me so I can see the messages, but if I read them while I'm on track, I'm going to crash. Right, so let's see how this feels with the slightly lower gears. I've got a feeling we're going to top it out. I thought I was hitting pit wall then. Come on, don't top out. Okay, that's definitely better. I've also got to remember about that bump heading into turn 1. Now, you may think that shortening the gears should not really help with the rear gripping up, but if the shorter gears allow you to be at the speed you want to be, it could have a knock-on effect. Oh, a little wide. Ooh, a bit too quick in there. Right, okay, I'm going to whack a little bit of extra rear downforce on. I'm going to take a gamble there, and we're going to go for it. And let's hope that it does not crash. Quick catch up on some of the messages. It might have been the Jaguar XJM9 that I was on about. Chevrolet Camaro, I know it, is it Chevrolet that it has on it? I'll show you after this race some of the cars. Doesn't have any Lamborghinis on it, but I don't mind that because, I mean, for example, on GT6 the Lamborghinis were fairly poor, to be honest. Ferrari 458 Italia, no, but then I prefer the Ferrari F430 anyway. Now, I don't know whether they've got licensing issues with Ferraris and Lamborghinis, but I do know that they are planning on bringing out, or I believe they're bringing out, more cars for the game. So it'll be interesting to see if they do, and if they do, what they bring. Oh, someone's crashing. Could have done without that kick there. I've managed to get him out of position. They're all getting a little bit busy ahead of us, so we're going to have to be clever about if and where we go for a move. Sometimes it is better to just wait for the cars ahead to make a mistake. Going to turn in on me, I know it. Well, he turned in on me and he ended up off. You're brave chucking it up there, fella. Didn't work for you. Now, I don't mind the AIs going for a move, as long as it's not a massive lunge from miles back, then really they should not be trying. Wide, come back, thank you.
Think about where he's slower than you. Keep pushing and see if you can take him under braking into the slow corners.
Had a big slide through those corners. May not look like a big one, but it was. It cost me a bit of time, which means in behind me he's probably going to lunge it up the inside here. Annoyingly though, when you go defensive, you do tend to lose time to the cars ahead, because you're not taking the fastest line through a corner.
Pile on the pressure, this is great stuff. You're going to do him in the next few laps.
Too wide there. Don't want to be over there. Come back. Come on, Slipstream.
Come on, this guy's just in our way. Big push now, let's fight our way past.
Okay, that was aggressive, but if it works... Oh, you son of a bitch. I get in there without hitting you, and you hit me to stay ahead, you dirty effing AI. It's now put me under pressure from the car behind.
Your lap times are a little bit inconsistent. Stay sharp, see if you can put in some strong laps now. Line them up, you can do it.
It was a little bit of a late lunge by me there, but I did manage to do it without hitting him, and we could have made the corner side by side. Come on, turn. Bit quick, a bit too quick in there then.
This is great, you're on him like a cheap suit. Keep him under pressure.
Too aggressive.
Good lap, that's your fastest lap so far today.
Good proof there, pushing too hard can slow you down. Oh, he's gone wide, can we capitalise? Come on. Come on, baby Bentley. No, don't do that. Oh. Let's go and find the only bit of metal railing at the edge of the track instead. He obviously didn't like being called Baby Bentley. I actually thought was going to have a decent shot at. Although I've got this car, I mean, it is handling fairly nice now. It is still quite slidey. Every time I've tried sort of pushing it on the exit of a corner, it has kicked out and cost me time. If I was going to spend the time looking at the setup tyre pressures would obviously be one I'd have another look at. I did gamble on the tyre pressures, but it is handling better than it was before. But also probably the rear cambers. Well, that could have been a lot better. I mean, it's not a bad car. Not the best car I've driven around the Nürburgring, but not a bad car. Okay, let's quickly catch up with some messages. Change time, not skip. I'll have a look at that on the next one. It may just be a Bathurst lag or issue, seeing as it was at Bathurst that it did it. Not at all, Marty. Not at all. How are you this evening? Hope you're having a good night. I'm sweating my danglies off. It is so hot, it's ridiculous. You could drive Farming Simulator. Did you pay full price for Farming Simulator? And is it any good? You'll have to send me a screenshot of it, because I know a few people that have been playing that. See, now that's something that would be really fun to have on here. Tractor racing. I mean, I'd love to do truck racing, you know. I really would like. I know R-Factor has got truck racing, but I really would like to have truck racing. They could have had it on Gran Turismo. They could have it on this. I mean, I think that would be absolutely pretty brilliant. Do BMW M1 on Snetterton 300 next. I'll happily do the BMW M1. I'm not sure about Snetterton 300 because I'm not a big fan of the Snetterton track. I did a session at Snetterton earlier on the full circuit, and I pretty much had to learn the track on the live stream, which started off terribly, didn't go too bad. I'll do the BMW M1, but I may do it on a different track. I always fast, just my cornering needs work. I'm too slow round. I think your driving is, I think your driving improved. I mean, after we did our practice session together, Marty, you got a podium in that weekend's races. So what we did then did make a big difference. Found a tuning trick on Forza. Oh, what's that? Turn it off and plug your PlayStation on instead. I'm off. I don't see through the week. Okay, Ray, have a good one, mate. I probably will do perhaps some online lobby at some point in the next few days. It depends on how hot it is. Also, I have got a lot of things I'm supposed to be doing instead of live streaming. But there we go. The Angry Silverback, how are you this evening? Alex Masters, hello. Is the BMW Z4 good? Yes, it is. It is a fairly nice car to drive. We did take that round Bathurst. A fairly nice car. Driven around a few tracks. Handles quite nice. slow process but fun farming. I guess that is. Sit on mowers. Someone else suggested sit on mowers, and that would be fun as well. There's figure 8 school bus racing about an hour away from me. That you should do, figure 8 school bus racing. There was a bit of a Demolition Derby game which had buses on it. You could either crash buses into buses, or you could have it where whoever was driving the bus had to destroy everybody else. And it was absolutely mental. It was really good fun. I think that may have been on PS2 actually. Brands Hatch, not a bad shout, that one. We can give that a try. I'm not the water boy, you know. That's true, because he does drive a sit-on mower, doesn't he? And no, it's not just you that's too hot. Seriously, it is ridiculously hot. And the annoying thing is, it's only going to get hotter towards the weekend. Do I smoke? Yes, I do. I really shouldn't, but yes, I do. Mad Scouse, hi mate, can you do a Formula A please on Silverstone Grand Prix? Thanks. I knew someone had asked for the Formula A at some point. Maybe. I am not a big fan of the Formula A's on here, although I do really like F1 racing. The Formula A's on here are, personally, I think are terrible and take a lot of setup work to get it right, because the amount of times it'll just spin out uncontrollably it just gets frustrating and makes you look like you have no idea what you're doing, when really you do. I mean, I took it around Donington, did a load. I mean, I must have done 5-6 hours worth of practice at Donington so that I could go and do time trial, which I did very well at. I then took that setup to another track not dissimilar to Donington, and it was terrible. It was crap, absolutely crap. So annoyingly for the Formula A, it does take time to get the setups on. How do you set up the BMW Z4? Glock, I can fix the Formula A's as well, but it takes time to get it right for per track, per driving style. I mean, as you know, you may not have seen me in the Formula A's before. Very early on, I worked out how to fix the car spinning out in second gear. The issue for me is that with the Formula A's, it just takes that bit of time, that bit of patience, and if I'm honest, I'm way too hot to be patient with the Formula A. I may give it a go, we'll see. Somebody else had already asked for another car though at Brands Hatch, the BMW M1. Okay, how do you set up the BMW Z4? Well, to be honest, it depends on what track you're on, pretty much. What you need to do to work out how to set up any of the cars is work out what the car is doing wrong. For example, understeer or oversteer. If you can work out which of those it's doing, then you can look at how you want to set the car up. When I did the BMW Z4 at Bathurst, I mean, I'm not playing about with setups much as it is, but I am going to run out of lighter fluid in my lighter because I keep talking and my smoke keeps going out. What I tend to do, especially with these where I'm doing like a sort of a quick blast setup, is get your gears sorted, so that you're just about ready to top out at the fastest part of the circuit. Work out whether you're understeering or oversteering. Check your tyre temperatures. If your front tyre temperatures are too low, then that could be causing your understeer. If you're getting oversteer, again, check your tyre temperatures. If your tyre temperatures are too high, that could cause your oversteer. They're too hot, or if they're too low, again, that could cause your oversteer. If you want you can improve either one by lowering the ride height. That's automatic downforce. Go too low with it and you will bottom out the car and not have control. You can increase your aerodynamics to give you better turn-in or better rear grip, or you can also adjust your cambers. Going more into the negative on the screen is adding more camber potentially gives you better steering, but it kind of has to be lined up with your tyre pressures, which affect your tyre temperatures, your ride height and your aerodynamics. So it's all kind of connected, but for a dead basic one: ride height, gears, aerodynamics, tyre pressures. If you work on those, you can pretty much solve most problems with cars. To get them really fast is going to take much more work. Okay, so the BMW M1. I told you I like to waffle. Scandinavia blood is boiling. Try vaping, Dave. 2.5 years in. I've been tempted, but it's hard to skin up a joint if you're on a vape. No, I'm joking. I don't smoke anymore. How'd you get to Carnegie Hall? Call a taxi. To be honest, I have got a big tin of lighter fluid, so I should be alright. Change headlight fluid. Right, okay, let's change the track. Brands Hatch it was someone just called for, isn't it? Now the BMW M1. I have driven it before around a couple of tracks, and I found it to handle quite nice, which means that around here it's probably going to be absolutely bloody shocking. I think it's in the touring cars. No, it's in the GT class. Yep, let's find ourselves a livery then. Cash Dow. Wow, what a livery. Okay, let's find ourselves something suitable. Oh, blue and red, that'll do. Right, now Brands Hatch is a track that I know and I do like. Can be quite a tricky track because of the different elevation changes, the amount of bumps. It can make a very nice handling car at another track be a complete dog, which is quite possible here, especially when we're on the cold tyres. Black is faster colour. Why do they come quicker? I should not say that, but wow. Thank you very much, Mad Scouse. I appreciate that comment. See that flying pig? I can't see the flying pig because I caught him in my fishnet stockings and chopped him up and cooked it. Right, okay. Let's get some slick tyres on. Take the fuel out because we're not using fuel. I could take it down to 1 litre, but I've been putting them down to 5. There's 2 reasons for this. 1, it just gives me a little extra weight in the car, and 2, it's time trial setup. You have 5 litres worth of fuel in time trial, so by putting them all to 5 litres, it's matching time trial settings. Okay, if we look here, the ride height here is 80mm on the front and 90mm on the rear. If I went out on track and this car was understeering or oversteering, first thing I'm probably going to look at is, am I bottoming out? Can I lower the car? If I lower the car, I should get better front end grip, better rear end grip. And considering that that's at 80mm, that is quite high. I mean, some of the older cars do sit at quite high. I'm sorry, Silverback. I'll try and keep it clean. For all we know, Miss Boyle could be watching as well. Okay, now while these tyres warm up, we are going to have to be a little bit careful. Now, I have just had a quick look at the iPad, which I'm probably not going to do again until I'm back in the pits, but I saw someone had mentioned or asked what is my favourite car on here. It's a toss-up at the moment between any of the LMP1 cars and the Mercedes C-Coupe AMG. That car is phenomenal. But then a lot of the cars are really good on here. The Formula, I'm not a big fan of the Formula A's. The Formula B's are great fun. The Formula C's are great fun. I mean, Sierra Cosworth isn't bad once you get a bit of a setup on it. Now, I'm not going to go too much on about setups, but I am going to pop the telemetry up for a moment because I did mention about tyre temperatures. Obviously, we've got the 4 green tyres which keep glowing up when they've got different amounts of pressure on them in different corners or accelerating and braking. When they go green, it means they're sort of at a good temperature or optimal temperature. But above each of the green tyres is 3 sets of numbers. If we look at the top left green tyre, there are 3 sets of numbers, 158, 161, and underneath it 158. Now for those, the top left number is the outside edge of the tyre, the top right number is the inside edge of the tyre, and the number underneath is the middle of the tyre. Now obviously on the right hand side of the car it swaps around. The right hand side is the outside of the tyre, the left hand number is the inside of the tyre, and the bottom one is still the centre of the tyre. Now when it comes to the tyre temperatures, ideally you want all the temperatures to get up to the same sort of temperature. Now that could all be down to how the track is. I mean, for example, at Donington Park, the right front tyre tends to stay a lot colder than the left front tyre because it's not worked as hard given the nature of those corners. So on your tyre pressures, you may want to put less tyre pressure into the right front to allow it to get up to a higher temperature. But ideally you want all the tyre temperatures to sort of get to a similar level of temperature. Now I'm going to pop that off so that I can actually concentrate on what I'm doing. I mean, for example, we've done what, 1.5 laps ish, and if we look at the tyre indicator in the bottom right corner, only one of the tyres is warm at the moment, so it is taking a while to get these tyres up to temperature, which for me is not great because it means it's probably going to take 3 or 4 laps to really get them up to temp. But if I remember rightly, the tyre pressures were about 150 in this car, which is quite low, but we may need to go a bit lower on them. So at the moment, I mean, the car's not handling very nice because the tyres are cold, and the reason the front left is green and the others aren't is because of the nature of the corners round here. The front left is doing all of the work at the moment. Now if we lower the ride height, giving us additional downforce, because that's what it is essentially, it's free downforce, that is going to work the tyres a bit more. Is it going to turn it into giving us 4 green tyres straight away? Probably not. Now it's not unusual for this car to take a while to get the tyres up to temperature. And obviously the older the car, the more different it's going to handle, behave and need setting up compared to newer cars. But this live stream is not about setting cars up, it's just about the viewers picking a car and me going and racing it, and whatever will happen will happen. I will make the odd setup change here and there. Okay, now that right front has come up to temperature, the steering is feeling a bit better. Still need those rears to come up, so I'm going to try and push it a bit. Now considering that we have done probably what, 4 laps now and the rears are still not up to temperature, just come in now, lowering the rear pressures would probably be a good idea, but I do want to try and do at least 1 lap with all 4 tyres green, so I know what it's going to handle like with the warmer tyres. I mean, that corner is such a different corner when the tyres are warm. Obviously at the start of the races you do tend to start with warm tyres anyway. A little out of shape there. And it hasn't quite got the power to drift. Right, okay. So are we going to make any setup changes? I am going to reduce these. I'm actually going to take a big gamble and knock 10 off them. I'm going to leave the fronts for now because the fronts actually felt like they were handling pretty damn good. The rear downforce, I'm going to leave that. But I am going to drop the ride height 5mm. I'm going to drop it 10 on the back. May not work for us, but we're going to give it a go. Right, quick check up on the messages and then we'll skip to the race. Now a few messages pop up here. What is your favourite car? No one answered that one. Shut up. You're so bad. I wonder who that's to. Hello. Levi Hazard. How old is Dave? Unsure. Ooh. Use the force, Luke. Anyone use 360 controller for this game? Not sure. Marty. Have a good one, Marty. I'll catch you later. There's a few times he said he uses the crisis gun. I don't know about a 360 controller, to be honest. Grid Autosport is a game I did play on the wheel and I didn't like it. I never tried it on a controller, but on a wheel I couldn't get on with it. I felt like I was not in control of the car. I wouldn't say having a wheel on this game is a must. No, I know pad users that are fairly damn quick, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they drive it smoothly, or necessarily always within the track limits, but there we go. But I mean, the way I see it is, with racing games, whether using a wheel is faster or not, using a wheel is so much more enjoyable. You are so much more immersed into the game. It makes a big difference. What wheel setup am I using? If I tried how can I explain this? I have a standard base wheel force feedback settings, and then for all of the cars they're all different. If you want to see what I'm using, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will paste in a link here to one of my videos on YouTube, although it's for Le Mans World Record time. But on my YouTube channel, on one of my playlists, which is tests and helping people, I have in there all of the wheel settings for all of the cars apart from the limited edition ones. They're separated into different categories: road cars, GT cars, touring cars, and all that kind of stuff. It would be easier for you to go and watch that than me try and explain it, because every single car is different. The T3PA pedals are very good, and that's what I am planning on getting myself. I need to move house first though. Right, okay, let's go and do this race. I do not want to cancel that. Ah, so that's what they meant by change time, change the time progression. Okay. Right, let's go and do this race. We'll see how bad this goes. But I've just seen it's 11:30. Considering I was going to stop at 10 o'clock. Now, at Brands Hatch, turn 1 is always going to be a bit tricky. Saying that, the start finish straight was tricky. Oh, I was just trying to cover the inside, but he's all over the curb anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to block him. That was very close to being completely lost then. But this car now is handling fairly damn grippily. Lowering the ride height has made a big difference. I say that and I'm going off. Now don't you dare dive bomb me up the inside, you're too far back. Bit of a wiggle. Meant I was late on the throttle.
Pile on the pressure, this is great stuff. You're going to do him in the next few laps.
Well, I'm planning on doing him in the next few corners and not the next few laps. Go on, defend the inside. A little bit of a nudge on him, but oops, sorry. Now, if this was a league race or anything like that, I would have waited for that person, but considering that they are AIs, we're not doing that. If I say league race, if I was racing against my friends and humans and I'd done that kind of thing, I would wait, depending on the situation, and whether it was a gentle, accidental revenge nudge.
Pile on the pressure, come on, keep at it. You're going to get past him. Nice one, that's your fastest lap so far.
Oh, speed up, youth. See, so all you've done is allow me past here, so you may as well have just gone through the corner properly. Come back, come back, come back. Damn it. He'll be laughing now. Now we are overheating the left front a little bit, but we did go off. A little bit too much curb. Come back, come back. We don't want to let him through again. Excuse my coughing. Don't want to be out there. Come on, come back. No. Damn it. He's so slow on the exit of the corners. Let's see if we can... I think it's tactical slow though, considering he was quicker out of that one. Come on, slipstream. If you're going to keep leaving the door wide open there, I'm going to keep going through and saying hello to your friends. I was going to say something else then. I thought, no, I've been told to keep it clean. The thing is, taking the corner like I just did, proper overheated the tyres. So if I'd got tyre wear on, it would be killing me making that move. It's more than likely why I struggled in this corner on the previous lap. The thing is, on this track, I don't know where he's gone. On this track, it's not going to be easy
Let's get back on it. Come on, push hard.
To cool those left-sided tyres down, just given the nature of the corners. I did take that corner a little easy just to try and help the temperatures a bit.
Driver in front extended his gap to 3 seconds, so he's still got the pace to catch him, so keep the pressure on.
Well, I don't know how we extended it to 3 seconds, because I've been catching him up for the last lap. Now, reducing the tyre pressures as much as I have could also be a reason why the tyres were getting up to the temperature that they were, but that is a nice car to drive, even with the standard setup. Once the tyres get up to temperature, it is a good car to drive. Right, let's catch up with some messages. Steve, hello. It's FIFA time, is it? I think you're not far off wrong there, to be honest. Do I think Forza 6 will beat this? I don't know. I mean, I haven't played Forza. All I can say is that this is by far one of the best racing games that I have ever played. Anything that comes after this is going to have to be phenomenal. And if Project Cars 2 improves on this, then again, the games are going to need to be phenomenal. 21 copies sold. Blue Moody, that's a little cheeky. This one looks good, but Forza 6 Maestro should beat it. Time will tell. I mean, I can't comment too much. I mean, RP Glock, he has Forza and he has Project Cars, but he is biased towards Forza because of his livery maker on there. 1 in 3 is the article I read. It might be BS. It could be, but who knows? Probably makes it easier. But I still was real good with the sticks on Forza 4. Just can't use the simulated steering. I'm fairly sure on this, you know, they have added a setting which is steering input style. I could be wrong. I was going to have a look at it actually. It was something I noticed yesterday. Now obviously I'm on a wheel, so it won't show you what I have, what you have for a controller, but it's something that I did notice the other day. Okay, THA's shifter is great with this game. I have been told that using a shifter on this great game is very, very good. I haven't got one myself, and to be honest, with the way that my wheel is set up, if I had a shifter, I would probably have to loosen up the amount of feedback that I have, because driving one-handed would not be easy. I would pretty much guarantee break my wheel stand. It's a bit weak as it is, because I've had it a few years. Played Horizon 2 and nowhere near this. Silverback, that's quite amusing. I played Blacklight Retribution. That's nothing like this either. See, livery creator and a ton more cars. I don't mind having less cars, as long as the cars that are on it are good. I mean, I'll always use Gran Turismo as an example. Gran Turismo has over 1,000 cars, and it's a waste of time. There's no need to have 1,000 cars when 500 of them are Mazda MX-5s. But there we go. Try a Wheel Stand Pro. To be honest, I'm more tempted in having a look at trying to find a cheapish rig. I would rather have a rig. The problem with that is, I mean, I've got 2 televisions, but the nice big fat one that I've got, which I do my gaming on, is also the one I watch TV on. Excuse me. And if I had a rig, I would have to decide whether to have the giant TV on that, or put the little one on that only runs 720p HD. Ooh, start on Forza 2. I started on, I'm trying to think what it was called. I used to go to the arcades, and it was something like Pro Driver or something like that, with a steering wheel that was off a JCB. Definitely no feedback, and graphics that were so terrible it was unreal. But there we go. So I don't mind the Project Cars list. Also, I mean, you mentioned about cars. They are bringing out new cars. Outrun, that was one of them. There's a different one I'm thinking of. They are bringing out more cars for this game, and for Project Cars 2, I'm fairly sure they said there's going to be, I think it's 200 more cars and 50 new tracks. Right, okay, I said I was going to quickly show you a setting thing. Okay, controls. Was it in here? Controller input mode. Now, I haven't looked at this or this, so I don't know exactly what these are for. But if you have these on a controller, it may be worth looking into. I only noticed those yesterday, so I think it's something new. I could be wrong, but unless there's an online manual, I don't know what they're actually for yet. Right, okay, I'm going to do one last event. Oh, hang on. Oh, okay. Do I do that? Do I not? Right, okay, this is going to be the last event. It could go very well, it could go horribly well, it could take us forever. I don't really want to do it, but because somebody asked, I shall give it a blast. I'm not in the mood for driving the Formula 8. In a way, you really do have to be in the mood. I can't remember if I've done a setup on this or not. I haven't got a clue. Okay, as for do I know when Project Cars 2 is coming out? No, I don't. From what I hear, it's probably going to be a year, if not longer. I think they'd be daft to bring it out within the next year, considering that this has not long been out. Could still do some work on it. See, because it's a little bit like you take FIFA. I don't like that with FIFA they bring out a new game every single year. With something like F1 it is slightly different, but with games like FIFA and even F1, they could update the game via download, so you don't have to buy a new game every year, especially considering that the next bloody hell, that rear radar is very high. Considering that the next FIFA is going to cost 80 quid. Right, okay, let's go and see how badly this is going to handle. I may just pull out the pit, spin it around and go, no, you're alright, we're not going to bother. Well, I say, I can't remember if I've done setup on this car. I may have done a bit. Bit of contact. Okay, I think I need longer gear. Definitely need a longer gear. Okay, let's go and sort our gearbox out. Let's jump it up 2 and see how it handles. You guys chat between yourselves. Well, okay, I wouldn't say there's a lot of work still needed on this. There is bits of work that they need to do. There's still a few glitches, a few bugs, but still it is, I mean, the driving dynamics, the feel from different car to car. I mean, okay, you play Gran Turismo and you can change from one car to another and there's not really a big difference in feel. There is a difference, but not really a big difference. On this, you know, you really know. I mean, it's like, you take an LMP1, you drive an LMP1 for an hour, you go and jump in a road car, you won't be able to drive it. Ooh dear. Okay, got a bit of understeer. I really don't want understeer. Too wide, but I haven't got the understeer now. tried it with the DRS open and it didn't like it. But that's handling alright, so let's go and let's go and do the race, shall we? Catch up with some messages. Bloody hell, you guys have been talking a lot. See, bring back Tocker. Someone else said that earlier on. V Racing was groundbreaking in its day. You're not wrong. Do you know when that's coming out? Oh, got to that bit. The Renault killed it every time. Okay, you two are talking between yourselves. I was surprised to hear that they already had another Project Cars going. However, if they get on it now, by the time it comes out, it should be epic. And to be fair, this is a groundbreaking game to a degree, I feel, especially on PS4. There has been no game like this on the PlayStation ever. Drowning. 2013 and 2014 were almost identical, but there was still a lot of differences. I mean, a lot of people said that 2014 was worse than 2013. However, play 2014, or if you've played 2014 for like a whole season, go and play 2013. You'll realise just how good F1 2014 is. Now, Glock, with your comment there, if you go to Project Cars Facebook, a lot of complaints. I can understand people making a lot of complaints. However, I do think some of the complaints are going to be legitimate. Some of the complaints are going to be blind complaints. For example, people saying the cars don't handle properly, blah blah blah, when in actual fact it could just be they've ballsed up a setup. I mean, someone commented the other day, you was in the conversation with us, with Alex Norway, who commented that on Facebook people are apparently complaining that in an online lobby, if you have the assist set to allowed, then you have the assists even if personally you turn them off. Well, we proved that one to be wrong. So although some people may say that they are having that issue, it's not something that I've experienced. I've tested it, checked it, other people have tested it, checked it, and it's not true. For us anyway. So I do think at times people make complaints. I mean, with F1 for example, right, here was something I couldn't resist commenting on with F1 2014. Someone said, I'm disgusted, I'm not buying another F1 game because all the tracks look the same as F1 2013. My comment was as simple as this: hang on a moment. In F1 2013, they got the tracks absolutely spot on. So how can they change it for F1 2014? Add a new corner? Add a new stand that's not there? Put curbs in where curbs aren't? No. They got the tracks right, so that's why the tracks are the same. So that was someone that was completely idiotic with their comment. He's like, the tracks were no different. Well, of course they're not, because they were perfect and right to start off with. Now, had they said, I'm not happy with the fact that it'll give you a corner cut warning for not going off track, but when you cut a massive chunk of this corner it gives you nothing, fair play, I agree with you. But there we go. Okay. Catch with some more. Why did the chicken cross the road to get into KFC? I guess. Did it have anything to do with two Russian hookers? Hey, I'll have you know, I controlled this FA, that's what I'm calling, yeah, the FA quite well. How can people know if they handle right? Very few would. That is very, very true. I mean, that is one thing as well. Let's say, for example, you've got a 13-year-old kid whose mum bought them the game. They're using a controller. Now, if any of you are 13 years old and your mum bought you the game, or your dad, and you use a controller, this is not aimed at you. This is just a generalisation, a made-up situation, right? 13-year-old kid, mum buys them the game, they're using a controller and they're spinning cars out all over the place, and they turn around and say, this handles nothing like in real life. Okay, so how many cars have you ever driven in real life? Well, I was really fast on Formula 1. That's not answering the question. If you've never driven a car in real life, then you can't make any kind of comparison to what a car drives like on a computer game. Now, when I played Gran Turismo 5, 4 and 6, one of the things that used to really bug me was you'd have a corner, which let's say is a 30-mile-an-hour corner, right? But on Gran Turismo, if you go round that corner in third gear, you just understeer wide and go off the track. If you go round it in second gear, then you go at 30 mile an hour, then you go round the corner properly. Now, personally, I drive around quite a bit at 30 mile an hour round corners, and it doesn't really matter if I'm in second or third. I don't understeer, go across the other side of the road, over the curb, through the fence and down the brook into the river. It doesn't happen. So that for me was a case of, that's not quite realistic. Now, you then push a car. If you've never pushed a car, it's difficult to know. Now, I've never really driven a car in anger around a racetrack, so even for me, I can't tell you whether this Formula A handles like a real F1 car, or whether the F1 cars on F1 handle like a real Formula 1 car. I've never driven a Formula 1 car. None of us have. How can we tell that difference? We rely on those people that have driven Formula 1 cars. So, for example, take Lewis Hamilton. When Codemasters started bringing out their F1 games, Lewis Hamilton used to race on it all the time with his brother. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is realistic. However, when you consider that quite a lot of the F1 drivers, not the older ones, play games such as Formula 1 because of its supposed realism, then surely if it was terrible, they'd perhaps say. No, I agree, Silverback. I mean, I want a bit of a rant here and make Steve wait even longer. Your comment there, four-wheel drive, pushed understeer, rear-wheel drive, tank slapping. I mean, I agree with that. I know our F1 league a couple of years ago, we had a lad who believed he was really, really, really fast. Right, pushed an 80s Yugo. What I can imagine, literally pushed it because it'd probably be faster than driving it. Yeah, anyway, he used to go on, I should have won this race, overtook more people than anyone, when in reality they didn't. And then one day I'm talking to him and saying, well, you're understeering and oversteering all over the place, blah blah blah. And he's like, what's understeer, what's oversteer? Well, hang on a minute, how can you know how to set up your car, what your car's doing, what you're doing as a driver, if you don't know what understeer or oversteer is? So I put it in layman's terms, right? I said, understeer is going into the gravel forwards, oversteer is going into the gravel backwards. Now, I think they actually took me literally. Now, obviously, I know that understeer is when you turn and the front end slides on. Doesn't mean you're going to end up in the gravel. Oversteer is when the rear end pushes out. That's obvious, but I couldn't help but put it in that way. Right, okay, let's go and do this race so I can go and kick Steve's arse on FIFA or go and beat other people. So I have been live streaming now for about 6 hours when I was only going to do it for 4. I think he hit me. Let's have a quick look if that was my fault or his. That was quite lucky there. That could have been a much nastier crash. Yeah, I'd say he definitely turned into me. Let's restart that, shall we? I bet you get hit by AI. If it didn't take long, did it? So you ended up in the gravel then? I mean, I can tell you how these cars handle. some of the cars I may be able to say whether I think they handle like they would in real life. Others, I couldn't tell you, like this car. I have no idea if this is how an F1 car would handle in real life. Not until I get in one, which will probably be never. The closest you'll get is a real F1 simulator. Give me some room! I can get forceful as well, young man. Oh, okay, let's all park on the apex. Bit of a Kimi Raikkonen moment there. If I go for this, it'd be brave and stupid, so let's... Come on, out of the way. Too wide, come back. Too slippy out there. Oh, come on, speed up! You're in an F1 car, they go round corners fast. off that. Busy looking at the corner, not the car. How slow are you gonna go? Very is the answer. I think he turned in on me then.
Great stuff. Great pace, super consistent. Just try and put together some slightly faster laps, you'll catch the field. You're in a good position, don't take too many risks, but try squeezing past him under braking for a slow corner.
I'm already past him, mate. Oh, maybe not now, though. With how close they are, this is going to get risky. Have some of them apples. Oh, nearly had the extra place. That handled quite nicely around there. Right, let's catch up with some of these messages. There's been a lot of them. Let's get Jeremy Clarkson on here. He's doing fudge all at the moment. Did I mind a serious track day? Was it? Oh yes. And he can't snap on here. Rear offside on the grass, Dave. Quite possibly. I can't finish the race because of AI. The biggest trick with the AI is working out what they're going to do. For example, if you chuck it up the inside, they are going to turn in on you. So you need to make sure you are really up the inside. If you leave the door wide open, they are going to chuck it up the inside. So you are going to have to defend. Yes, they do some stupid stuff, especially at starts of races, but the difficult part is working out what the AI is going to do. Once you can work that out, the AI will not be a problem. The other way to do it is qualify pole and disappear, and then it doesn't matter what the AI do. Excuse me. Don't forget to pay the congestion charge. Don't worry, mate, I've got a helicopter. Runs on chipped fat oil. Right, no worries, Mad Scouser. I actually enjoyed that race. There's some lovely overtakes in there as well. I'm not a fan of this new track layout either. Turn 1, 2 and 3 I don't mind. 4 and 5, no, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the tight twisters. The older track was a much better circuit. Fast. Like the look of the new F1 Mexico track. I am looking forward to racing Mexico. Oh, sorry, do I say fast instead of fast? Oh, I do apologise. Silver spoon. I wish. The race engineer doesn't really know what he's on about most of the time. But having said that, the race engineer, the race engineer will give you instructions, but what you have to remember is, potentially, they give the AI the same instructions. So, for example, when he says to me, the guy behind is right up your gearbox, why don't you take a defence line and brake in the middle of the corner to slow him down and then drive off at the straight? Well, obviously I don't tend to do that, but that is what the AI do. They do brake in the middle of corners to make you brake so they can drive away. It is a tactic that real drivers will use, and it is a good one. The slower you go on an apex, the slower the car behind has to go, meaning you've got more chance of pulling away. It is a good way of stitching up the car behind, just as I rammed in. Right, okay. Keeps up his arse when driving. Oh, no. It's next to me in a gold-plated box with a special key. Thank you very much, Mad Scouts. Circuit of the Americas, that's a track that I do kinda like, but it's a better track driven the wrong way round. If you've still got the F1 game on any platform, go and do like some time trial and drive the wrong way around the Circuit of the Americas. It is a much better track, because when you go around turn 1 and down into the fast bit, you have to go slower and slower and slower and slower through that first sector. Doing it the other way, faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Right, okay. That's it. We're done. We've live streamed for a hell of a lot longer than I was planning on doing it. I can imagine the Circuit of the Americas is quite interesting on bikes. But anyway. Right. We are done for the live stream, but for those that weren't on when I posted this before, there's a link to a video on my YouTube channel. You don't have to watch it, you don't even have to go onto it, but if you are interested in seeing what YouTube videos I have got, this basically will get you onto my YouTube channel. So if you are interested in looking, feel free to have a look at that one, or get onto my channel through that. Either way, this is the end of the live stream now, for definite, for sure. So, I shall say thank you everyone who has been watching. Thank you to those who have recommended cars for me to drive. Some of them have definitely not been fun to drive in the early parts of the stream. But surprisingly, that Formula A was quite nice just then. It was actually enjoyable, and I felt like I could race it and overtake people. And there was no real sort of hint of spinning out, apart from when I had my bit of a Kimi Räikkönen moment. But anyway, there we go. I am going to minimise my screen just so it pops the details on there as well for anyone that wishes to see it. So there we go, Front Row Racing, that's the league that I'm involved with. Front Row Racing DP, that is the name of my channel. I've been Front Row Racing DP, otherwise known as Dave. Thank you to everybody who has been watching, and just so you know, we're not far off 200 followers now. And I am going to be, and I'll keep saying this, it's time to finish. I am trying this week to do a live stream every day. Tomorrow's Alex Cass, hello, you've turned up at just the wrong point. I'm going now. I've been on for about 6 hours. I'm going now, I'm afraid. But I will be on tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, I am either going to do another You Decide What I Drive session, or I may do something a little bit different. You'll have to see what the title is. Either way, that is it. I am off. From a Racing DP, over and out. Have a great night, folks. I shall see you all soon.